Alright, welcome back to another Art of War 3 replay. I'm your host, John Cena, and today we're going to be doing a clan 2v2 battle. I'm going to be the green Confederate player, and my ally is going to be Vicky. Vicky will be the blue Confederate player. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to be facing up against two resistance players. One of them is from the ReeActiv clan, so we're anticipating a pretty good matchup here, potentially. So we got some early game scouting happening around the battlefield. Something I'm trying with this particular battle is the early fortress to secure the large container, and I was able to swipe the large container there. Vicky is still developing their base. Meanwhile, I'm teching up to HQ 3. Looks like Yellow was able to get a Cayman to my base, meaning that they've probably swiped all the containers. I'm going to send my fortress in to get a scout onto Yellow. Let's see what Yellow's got. Yellow is HQ3, they got 6 supply centers, and they have a level 2 Avia factory and an airfield, so we should be anticipating some Hawks coming into play. Let's go ahead and check out the red player. Looks like Red's got 5 supply centers, 6 supply centers, 7 spider centers, actually, double assault vehicle factories, and triple barracks here. So it looks like Red is going for the vehicle build, and looks like Yellow is possibly going to go for the aviation build. So I'm going to designate roles here. I'm going to go for aviation in this battle, and I tell my partner Vicky to go for the land build. So I'm teching up to HQ4 right now, just so I can go for the mass aviation build. Mass aviation in my case is going to be mass Vertex. Vicky is just getting some production down. We see Red going over to secure resource container. I've got a couple Vertex now flying over the battlefield just to get some control. I'm going to clean up a scout vehicle there. Here comes some Hawks from the yellow player. They're going to dish out some damage against my infantry there. And I'm going to pull my Delta back there. Meanwhile, Vicky's moving some ground troops in to try and secure this container from the red player. My Vertex are coming in. They're going to score a couple hits on the Hawk. And the Hawk is very heavily damaged. And I'm going to go ahead and provide some air support there. And my Vertex are continuing to maneuver around. Let's see if we can score another hit on the yellow player. And it looks like my Vertex are going to have to pull back. Then I've got 4 Vertex now at this point. A couple airfields down. And I've got 2 level 2 Avia factories out. And 2 airfields out as well. And I'm in the process of putting down some more infrastructure so that I can put down a 3rd airfield. Vicky is now going for HQ4 at this point. We got a couple scouts around the battlefield for visual. Here comes my Vertex. I'm going to score a hit onto a scout, and then I'm just going to retreat. I've almost got 8 Vertex at this point. And I'm also going to produce a few ground troops here. Not too many since my focus is the aviation build, but I want a little bit for base security. So now I'm going to send my Vertex in, and we're just going to hit the sniper tower and pull back. I forgot to micro that one Vertex there. It's going to take a ton of damage from the yellow player, and it's going to get shot down. I scramble my Vertex to see if I can get an interception. No interception possible. I'm going to go ahead and retreat. So right now, just continuing to expand my base here. A little bit of scouting from Vicky there in position, just in case any ground assault comes our way. Looks like another rifleman trying to get a scout onto our bases here. Vicky is going to intercept. Looks like Hawks come in to support. My Vertex come in. They score huge hits onto those Hawks. All 3 Hawks go down. That is a massive hit onto the yellow player. Not looking good for yellow at all, and I did not lose a single Vertex in that engagement, so that was very nice interception on my part. So now we're at 3 airfields, 12 Vertex now, and I'm just upgrading my buildings here, putting down some anti-air towers, and here we go. We're going to launch another air raid onto the red player this time, and we snipe an assault vehicle factory, those level 3, and I'm going to go ahead and retreat. So Vicky's flagging a couple buildings, telling me to launch an attack, and I tell him that I'm actually going to wait. I just wanted to launch one attack and retreat, do a hit and run. Let's go ahead and do another hit and run. I've got a red air attack boost here, and looks like it didn't actually attack anything there. Just kind of swinging around the map to take a look at what's on the battlefield before retreating. I'm going to add a aviation servicing boost just to increase the speed at which my Vertex refuel. And there's a couple bombers here trying to dish out damage, but that was a very bad trade on Yellow's part. Those bombers were not only unable to take out my Avia factory, but both of them were also shot down. So, looks like Vicky's now coming in to secure the resource container. Yellow's trying to take out those Zeus tanks with the Hawks that they've got. But again, Zeus are pretty heavily armored, and Yellow does not have a full build of Hawks yet. Looks like there's 5 Hawks in play here. Let's go ahead and bring my Vertex in. And looks like we weren't able to intercept. I'm going to go ahead and pull my Vertex back. So again, just got a few ground troops in the area, just trying to secure that resource container. And I've got the Vertex just in case to do an interception. So at this point, I'm actually going to go ahead and now upgrade to HQ5. I've got the resources to do it, and I haven't really taken any losses, so things are looking pretty good so far. I'm going to go ahead and scramble my Vertex again. Let's go ahead and see what kind of damage we do. We're going to go ahead and take out one anti-air tower, and then we're going to go ahead and pull back. Looks like Yellow's trying to bring in their Hawks to dish out some damage as well. My Vertex is going to come back in, and they're going to score a nice hit on that Porcupine before retreating. And looks like those Hawks now are dishing out some good damage against my ground troops. I'm going to have to regroup my ground troops there. I think if I were to redo this a little bit differently, I probably would have included a couple Typhoons to back up my ground troops. Here comes the Hawks coming in, though, to attack Vicky's Zeus tanks. Vicky's apparently trying to destroy a scout in the trees there and is requesting to send a Cyclone over. Let's go ahead and send Vertex over to support. Oh, and that's a nice hit onto the Hawks there. Some Porcupine missiles coming in, and we score another huge hit onto the Hawks there. Another hit onto the Hawks. These Hawks are taking a ton of damage from my Vertex, and they're gonna get shot down. I believe I took some casualties there. Let's take a moment in a little bit to check, and it looks like I only lost 1 or 2 Vertex in that engagement. We definitely did some good damage and took out a few Hawks there, so it was a good trade-off on my part overall. Vicky is now HQ5 as well, as going for a triple Zeus tank army build at this point. And looks like Hawks coming in. They're going to clean up some of my ground troops there. My Vertex come in. They're going to swipe some hits onto a Porcupine. Looks like Red's got a small ground army on the top of the plateau there for some visual control. I'm going to go ahead and produce some more Vertex. I lost a Vertex there, but that's okay. I've got the resources to rebuild. Vicky is going to flag a part of the map to let me know that they are going to move to point D. Hawks are now coming in again, dishing out some fire against my ground troops. My Vertex are going to come back in. Let's see if we can get an interception here. Those Porcupines are providing some nice control on the map, and my Vertex are actually taking a ton of damage here, and I'm going to lose a Vertex there, and I'm going to have to retreat. That was not a good trade-off on my part. Meanwhile, Zeus tanks are now moving in from Vicky. Vicky's just getting organized on the plateau before moving in. Looks like Vicky's going to try and attack. And Hawks are coming in from the yellow pair once again to swipe some hits onto my ground troops. I'm going to throw on a gold attack boost here. And let's see what happens from attack standpoint. Ton of Porcupines there. I'm going to score a direct hit on the Porcupines, but that is a lot of missile damage. I'm not sure that I want to keep engaging. I'm going to go ahead and pull back my Vertex. Meanwhile, Vicky's launching a full-scale assault onto the red player. Red's got a JCP army, but Vicky has just gone straight for Zeus tanks. These Hawks are dishing out some good damage against Vicky's army, but Vicky has a huge contingent moving straight onto the red player's base. I'm going to bring my Vertex in. We're going to score a nice hit on an assault vehicle factory. There's a fair amount of anti-air in play in the area. So I'm actually only going to score a couple more hits on units before I pull back. That was a rough hit onto my Vertex there. I'm going to lose a couple Vertex there. Vicky, meanwhile, has made it onto the base now. And the Hawks are now trying to desperately defend the red player. Red does not have any ground troops to support at this point, and is about to lose their headquarters, and the headquarters goes down. red has no way to produce units at this point. So I'm actually going to go ahead and flag a couple factories here. Just in case this Zeus army attack fails, we want to take out production as much as possible. Well, Vicky's doing a great job cleaning up a lot of this base. Yellow is desperately trying to defend with the Hawks. At this point, it's almost a good game for the red player. Red's lost most of their base, only has a couple buildings left in terms of infrastructure and power plants, and it's not looking good for the red player. Looks like red was trying to rebuild with a construction yard further away. My Vertex are coming in. We're going to snipe an airfield. Airfield takes a ton of damage though, but we're going to clean up that airfield, and now I'm going to pull back my Vertex. That was actually a lot of damage that my Vertex took, and I don't want to keep the assault going, so I've got some more Vertex there. They're just going to pull back. Meanwhile, Hawks are coming back in now to dish out damage against Vicky's army. Vicky is pretty much out of Zeus tanks at this point, and the last of those Zeus tanks gets cleaned up. So at this point, I've got 14 Vertex and over 100 command points worth of units, so we're looking pretty good right now. Vicky's got 4 more Zeus tanks moving in. We've got a couple more Vertex that have been produced, and now I've got 16 Vertex to use. We're going to go ahead and launch another attack here. Let's see what we end up going for. I'm going to throw on a red air attack boost here, and we're going straight for the headquarters. That's a ton of damage on the headquarters, and looks like we're going to snipe an airfield there, and we're going to snipe another airfield, and that is pretty much the end of the air power for yellow. Red is pretty much cleaned up at this point, and yellow knows that this is good game, and they're going to self-destruct. Alright, hope you all enjoyed this battle. Relatively quick on this one. Just a nice battle for showcasing some air power. We will see you in the next battle.
Victory.